I just remember coming to one of the first services at church and being like, man, like this is wild. Like I'd never experienced worship in the way that you would at a Hillsong service. And I was like, this is insane. But more than the music, I was like, there's something like going on. It was like I want to be a part of that. And I'd never done music before that point. But I knew that I just wanted to do that. Like that's what I want to be part of. And for me, anyway, like writing, it's like I'll like imagine the end result of a song, and I'm living in that. But there's a huge gap between where I am right now and that song existing. And by doing that, I'm actually not even at the starting point. I'm not finding it makes it so difficult. Dude, I didn't even know what I was doing. I like lost myself. Doing content jazz, like I feel like that is being a musician now. More than even actually being a musician and making content.
I'm literally, I can't wait to talk to him. Like, dude, how many of these things can you do at once?
Yeah, that's sick.
That's dope. Awesome. I typically like to just start talking. Just
great.
But I do want to say thank you for being on the podcast. I'm really excited for the next one.
Thanks for having me, bro. And thank you for having me in the future as well.
Oh, yeah. So that future one, I just want you to know what I'm thinking is you're probably just going to be playing Love So Deep, you know?
Yep.
And when that happens, everything is going to be just really beautiful for you. And I think I'm just going to teach you a couple quick tips.
I would really like that. I need it, bro.
Have you actually ever had anyone who tried to like kind of bring you on as you started to get a little bit more, I wouldn't say successful, but for lack of a better term, successful in your career where someone's like, actually, can I show you something?
Well, I'm very open to learning. So
I mean from like an antagonistic perspective.
Yeah, I mean, there's always feedback, and I take it on board.
Can you give me like a small example so we can have a laugh?
I've had somebody one time say to me in a Q&A, hey, like, I see the way you play chords on your guitar. I think it would sound better if you played them like this. Like, I actually think it makes sense for the song.
No way.
Yeah. And they actually weren't wrong.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you took it.
I took it on board, yeah.
And it worked.
It does work, yeah.
What was the difference?
It was like just the way it sounded. They were like, it just makes more sense. You won't have to move your hands as much if you just do it like this, if you do these shapes on the acoustic guitar. And I was like, all right. And at the time, I was like, what? I wrote this song, and I know how it goes. But they were right.
What song was it?
What song was it? I think it was Pursue. This like acoustic song that I used to play. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Out of the songs that you wrote for your new album, which one came to you the most naturally?
I would say there's a few. A lot of them actually came pretty naturally. That's why I did an album, because it just kind of
Does it kind of just happen, like you're doing something and then it just comes out of you?
Well, yeah, like I'm trying to write a new record now, and it's so hard. Like there's nothing coming out. It's actually been really hard. But yeah, that's the reason I put the last one out, is because it kind of just felt like I had things I wanted to say. I think there was a song called like Made to Worship, which is like the first song that I wrote. That was like, it all came out in a day, and it actually like kind of was the end. Like it kind of was the catalyst for me to do a record. Like just even the words, like the lyrics all came out like pretty quickly. So that was really great.
Have you ever heard of the term cognition? I was just talking with some buddies, the guys you met right before this pod, about that. There's all those personality tests, like, hey, this is what you can do, or like your IQ, your EQ, whatever. But I heard this term cognition, and I took this test. It's called the Kolbe test.
Okay.
And the basic idea is it's not how smart you are or how emotionally intelligent you are, but the idea is when you are at your best, like when you're at peak performance, how your brain got you there. And I'm so intrigued by people like you, because to give you your flowers, rightfully so, you've written so many absolutely beautiful songs that have been sung in our little world and big world at the same time of Christianity, been sung the world over. I'm curious what it's like for you, the moment where a song just comes out of nowhere, and then like you're saying now, it's really difficult. Yeah. I think when I was taking that test, I found out for myself that the thing that I'm best at is being an idea and an initiator, and I'm really bad at follow through, which was not a shock, but it's like my actual skill set. And so my goal when I'm doing something, whether it's creative or not, and I have to get myself free from the outcome and just enjoy the process. And then maybe I never even end up doing it. But I'm curious for you as a singer-songwriter, Do you ever experience stuff like that where you're like, okay, I just have to go away. I need to go on a trip, or I need to go to the beach, or I need to go hang with some. What is that like?
I don't think I'm very dissimilar to you in that I'm definitely like, I get excited by the process. I get excited by the initial idea or like the spark of inspiration. And if I don't have that, it's impossible for me to work, because I have put such a pressure on the end result sometimes as well. But I guess I start by saying I like can't write unless there's an initial like spark or an inspiration. So, and that comes like, sometimes I'll overthink that part too. Be like, okay, maybe I need to get away. Maybe I need to go to the beach. Maybe I need to go to a different state. But then I'll also put so much pressure on the outcome. So like, it needs to be this type of song. I need to write with this in mind, that it will just paralyze me in the process. And I'll just like, so I've got a lot of unfinished ideas.
Yeah. Obsessing over the end result of anything typically ruins the pursuit. Like, you can talk about relationships in the same way. If you're like, dude, if this person isn't the one, like, it's so silly. I never told you this story before, but by the time I finally decided I was going to ask my current wife out on a date, it was like too much pressure. I was the youth pastor and she was doing youth admin. I call up my brother. Dude, I was actually with Dan Leanne the night. Dan Leanne, he's supposed to preach on Sunday morning. It's Saturday night. And he's like, bro, you're an idiot. Just grow a pair, mate. And go ask her out. I'm like, fine, I'm going to do it. And he's like, you don't need to do it tonight. I'm like, oh, no, I'm going tonight. I call up my brother, Jess, who is the best. He's like, he's taught me everything in life. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, I'm finally going to ask out Amy Gilbert. He's like, dude, let's go. But don't be that crazy guy who's like, changes his relationship status. I'm like, bro, absolutely. And so I get there. I'm like, hey, I like you. I'm really excited. Like, let's date, but we don't need to put pressure. Like, we're not boyfriend and girlfriend. Let's go on a couple dates and see. Bro, 30 minutes later, I'm like, I'm in love with you. Marry me. Let's kiss. She's like, not on my parents' couch. This is weird. But it's so funny. Yeah. Everything kind of leading up to that, every time I went into a relationship, my thought is like, could this be the one?
Yes. Yeah. And I think there's part of that in all of us. Yeah.
Like, I met this cool person, or like I meet this guy in business. When I first started in business 5 years ago, it was like every person I met, I'm like, they could work here or they could be my partner. But then you start to mature and realize like that's actually a very terrible way to live. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it definitely just like, it stops you from actually doing anything, because you live in this, like, for me anyway, with like writing, it's like I'll like imagine the end result of a song, and I'm living in that, but there's a huge gap between where I am right now and that song existing. And by doing that, I'm actually not even at the starting point. I'm not finding it makes it so difficult. It's like the antithesis of the way of Jesus. I feel like this keeps happening. As you know, this podcast isn't even a year old, and I'm just like learning. I feel like every time I sit down with a friend or a new friend, we've obviously known each other for years now. What ends up happening is you end up saying something, and you just did. That's like confirming what Jesus is doing in my heart, bro. For basically the first 5 years of my business, all I've really thought about is where we're gonna go. And now I'm looking around like, dude, like this is I have a pretty good life. Yeah. And that's literally the teachings of Jesus. It's like, dude, look at the lilies. Not even Solomon in all of his splendor. Look at the birds of the air. Yeah. They don't plan. Yeah, God. So refuse your worry. And I think, for me at least, I'm not gonna speak for you, but maybe it's true for you. Please. Well, I even just realized it again today. Me living in that future reality is really just a form of covert pride. Yeah. Because I need it to be that for me to feel good. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I haven't thought about it that way. That's cool. It was really sobering for me this morning. I was like, oh, dang. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, for me, it definitely robs me of like, well, firstly, it robs me of the ability to actually create that song that I'm thinking about. But it steals the joy out of the things that you do have and the songs that I have written, or the ideas that I do have in my phone. But that's interesting. What is the test? What's the test? The Colby test. Colby test. Okay. So I think it was while I was working at PushPay. I'm trying to remember when I took it. No, actually, it was while I was working here in LA, that previous job I had before I started my company. I was working with, actually, no, that wasn't it. I honestly don't remember when I took it, but I remember whoever introduced me to it, I really respected. Okay. So there's this woman, I can't remember her name, but her last name is actually Colby. Okay. She built this test because she realized so many of these popularized personality tests and Enneagram are obviously very helpful, but what they don't actually measure is how people can use their gift well. Like it's I'm really book smart. I'm really intelligent. I have this IQ number or EQ or even personality. Like my personality is the helper achiever. I'm I think a 2-wing 3 or a 3-wing 2 Enneagram.
Okay.
Do you know what yours is?
Yeah, 3-4.
Okay. Which one is 3? Is that the helper or is that the achiever?
I think it's achiever.
Okay, so we have that in common.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Makes sense.
What's the 4?
I don't remember. It's like create, like arty or something.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Yeah, so mine, one of them is the helper and one of them is achiever.
Okay.
That's mine. It's like
That's
the 2,
pretty good.
3, whatever it is.
They're pretty good.
It's like
ones.
empath and visionary is kind of the idea. And all that helps, but what the Colby test, I think is like $55, and it goes really deep and didactic on it. Yeah. It basically talks about, it's not your personality, but it's when you are at your best, what you did to get there. And so like amongst a bunch of other things, it basically showed me my cognition, which is my ability to work in my volition and be at my best, is when I'm an initiator, when I've had a lot of free time to think, when I don't have to be regimented, and when I don't have to push things forward that I've already started. Like if you put me in a role where I have to basically do a similar task on a continuous basis, I will actually fail in the role. But if you put me in a role where I can initiate new ideas and start them and get them off the ground and then move on to the next one, I thrive. And if you also put me into a role where I don't have the free time to think things over, it even said so much to say, for me, it's recommended that in order for me to be at a high energy level and work hard, I should probably have one day where I don't work and I just think freely, which is wild.
That's cool. So it tells you all that.
Yeah.
Great.
It's dope. Dude, you should try it. I'd be curious. I want to retake it because I think I actually took it when I was living here in LA a long time ago, but it's really brilliant.
That would definitely have an influence. Living here.
Dude, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
How long have you been here now? You said, is it
4 years? 4? Yeah. So, June 21.
What made you decide to move here?
All my work was here. So I was, before COVID, I was coming over here like in between 5 to 10 times a year over to the States. And I think like all the friendships that I made in the last 10 years, having come here for work, were all here. So I'd go back to Australia, and Australia it felt like I was traveling to work, and it just wasn't sustainable. So I was like, all right, I'll move here, and had great friends, and work was here. And I needed to change. I felt like I'd been in Sydney my whole life. I've been part of like Hillsong Church, that community, for many, many years, and I think I need to do something to just stretch myself a little. Yeah.
And did it take time, or were you like, no, it just makes sense? Because you were living in Sydney, just traveling.
We're traveling a lot. Yeah, we were coming over here
mainly for Young and Free, or exclusively?
Yeah, mostly, like pretty much. We had like a lot of events over here.
How many years of travel was it?
We traveled from like 2013 through till COVID. We would do like 200 days away a year.
My God.
Yeah, from Sydney. So I was away a lot. And it was amazing. I loved it so much.
Totally.
But I think at some point, it just, for me, I was like, this is not sustainable anymore. I was just detached from every community, just being on a plane all the time. And so I got that back by coming here. But I think, it's been challenging. It's different. America's different to Australia in so many ways, like awesome ways, but also like my family's in Australia. And I think there is something nice too about a separation, like being in Australia, there was a separation from work. Like you'd go back and it's like, okay, cool. But all in all, it's been good. That's my summary. That's my summary of it all.
I feel like that's, I think I probably said this to you, my favorite colloquialism when people ask how I'm doing these days, I'll say mostly great.
Yeah. That's generally the answer. Yeah. Mostly great.
Mostly great. Well, what's bad? Well, do you have 3 hours?
Yeah.
So dumb.
No, I mean, it has been really good. It's been the right thing for me, for sure.
I love that.
Yeah.
How many family members do you have back in Australia? Is it like all your aunts, all your uncles, everybody's
Everyone.
there? I don't know why I went aunts and uncles.
Honestly, it's like close to 100 people.
Oh my, are you serious?
Yeah.
How big is
Not
your
that
immediate
much.
family?
It's like my immediate family is 2 brothers, younger.
Okay.
And obviously my parents. But then my mum has like 5 or 6 brothers and sisters. They all have like 5 or 6 kids, and they all have kids. And so our Christmases, we like hire a venue.
No way.
Yeah, it doesn't fit anyone's.
You ever hear house. That? I think Vampire Weekend song, "Me and Your Cousins."
No, I haven't. Sing it.
Okay, I ruined it. No, well, I'm not gonna sing in front of you, dog. What are we talking about? Anyway, it just reminds me of that. Anytime I hear someone with a big family.
Yeah, you got a big family.
Yeah, not 100. Yeah. Bro, that's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah,
literally.
I think it's not actually 100. I think it's more like, I think it's closer to 80. But it's a lot, like a lot of kids. Like at Christmas, like so many.
Yeah, I think my dad grew up in Florida, and I love all that family. We kind of like never see him, and both those grandparents are in heaven, and a lot of the other whatever. But my mom grew up in California, and we were always closer. So like Judah's from my mom's side, and then all of his family, and then obviously both of my brothers have kids now, which is crazy.
That's
and
crazy.
Still, I cannot believe. It's honestly kind of shocking to me every once in a while. I'm looking around, like even hanging with my cousins. I'm gonna see them tonight. My younger cousins who are like nephews to me.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, no, I'm still 20.
Yeah.
And you're my kid's age. No, but I'm gonna have a fourth. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, that is insane, dude.
There's nothing like getting around family and just realizing, oh God, like this is going quick.
I know, it's insane. I feel that way going back, like because I went to see my family for like 6 months a year. Where I get back, I'm like, oh my God, like parents are aging, or like there's
Bro,
another.
Is that not the trippiest thing?
Yeah,
you don't see your parents for a while, and you see them like, oh, Dad.
I know. I don't like to think about it, but it's
insane.
crazy.
How old are your mom and dad?
Dad is 75 this year. Okay. And mum's 61. They're like 15 years apart.
Well, good for them.
Yeah, I know. Crazy. Yeah.
I was actually with my aunt this morning, and she's not married, and I was asking her like if she's ever going to. She's like, well, it's like, and no shade at your dad at all. Kudos to him and however they got married. But he's like, like men like to marry younger women. I'm like, usually it's pretty common, especially in the older age.
Yeah.
But my dad, I think, is 71-ish. My mom is in her late 60s. But it is kind of crazy, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. It happens quick.
What's up?
It happens quick.
Oh, bro. It is really sobering to look back. And it also is such a beautiful reminder of, like, the relationships are really the only thing that matters. Mm-hmm. We were talking, obviously, before the pod when we were waiting to get things set up.
Yeah.
I feel like I keep on realizing more and more, like, dude, we can do business, we can do career. And obviously, what we do matters. Mm-hmm. You writing music, whether it's an overt song about Jesus for people to sing or about anything else, which I really want to listen to your other album too, by the way. Maybe after.
Yeah. There's not much to show.
Well, actually, I'm going to say what I was going to say, and then let's talk about your pop album that you won't show us.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But I say that because I just keep realizing more and more, like the longer I've been in business, the longer I've done career things and moved and had cool jobs, bad jobs, ups, downs, is like, dude, this doesn't even matter.
No, I know.
Like, it matters that, like, you're putting yourself to good work, but, like, relationships are the only thing. Like, you get around your parents who are aging, or around, like, a niece and nephew, or even my kids. Like, dude, I'll be gone for a couple of days to shoot a podcast or whatever, and I come back, and my kid looks bigger.
Yeah. It's wild. I think if you think about yourself at the end of your life, when you look around the table, I think the thing you're going to care about is, like, firstly, who's around the table, but then also, like, the relationship that you had. I don't know if you're thinking about this podcast. Maybe you will be.
Just this episode.
Yeah, just this episode. I think I'll reflect on this episode well. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's true. I think it's not that the things that we do don't matter, but I just don't think it compares to, like, who we do it with and, like, our life, for sure.
How did you come to Jesus? Did you grow up in the church?
No, I grew up, like, in Catholic school and stuff like that.
Oh,
so I was.
Is that common in Australia, Catholic school?
Yeah, but, like, there's a lot. Most of the schools, almost, I would say, like 60-70% of the schools are Catholic.
For real?
Yeah.
Wow. Didn't know that.
So,
would you be wearing, like, a Catholic uniform and going to mass every day?
Not every day, but yeah, we did. I wore, like, a suit.
No way.
Pretty much, yeah.
Dude, you guys.
But every school in Australia has uniforms, so it's not this.
Not
like,
that uncommon.
No, but yeah, I knew about Jesus my whole life. Like, it wasn't a foreign concept. He wasn't anyway. But I started attending, like, Hillsong youth group when I was probably like 11 or 12.
No way.
It was around that time. Like, it was just like a youth group service, and, like, after the service, my cousin, who's my age, was like, "What'd you think of the service?" I was like, "Yeah, it was really good." And he's like, "Do you want to meet Jesus?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, if he wants to meet me, I'm down." And then we were just in a park, like, after it was like 10 o'clock at night on Friday night, and he, like, led me in a prayer, and that was kind of the beginning of, like, my life following Jesus. I didn't feel that disconnected from him before that, though, because I felt like I was very intrigued by Jesus. Like, it was still, I felt like I was still praying before that. That was still something I did. But that was the moment where I was like, okay, I think I'm dedicating my life to this. Yeah.
And you were 11?
I was probably 12 at that point.
And then did you start going to church a lot, or what?
Yeah, I didn't go to church on a Sunday for a while. I used to play soccer on Sunday, so I'd go.
No
to the,
way.
Yeah.
You grew up playing soccer?
Yeah. It was
How
on a
have we never
Sunday.
talked about this?
I don't know, but we are now.
No way.
But I went to the youth groups. That was a Friday night thing. I did that probably up until, that's probably from 2005 till 2008. I just went to the youth group on Fridays, and then I started going to church on Sundays after that at Hillsong.
When did you start singing and writing music?
That kind of came around 2008, probably 2007, 2008.
So how old you have been? Like 15?
14, 15, around that point. Yeah, I just remember coming to one of the first services at church and being like, man, like, this is wild. Like, I'd never experienced worship in the way that, you would at a Hillsong service. And I was like, this is insane. But more than the music, I was like, there's something like going on. And so I just kind of like was like, I want to be a part of that. And I'd never done music before that point. Like, but I knew that I just wanted to do that. Like, that's what I wanted to be part of. And so I started to like teach myself how to play guitar, like started a band called the Black Ties.
No way. With just like a couple buddies?
Yeah, when we wore black ties.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I would teach
What
them,
kind of
like,
music would you do?
It was like a boy version of Paramore.
No way. Like kind of moody rock?
Yeah, but it was like Christian-y, like Christianish.
Can you remember any lyrics? Give
Bro,
me one thought, please.
It wasn't.
Oh, sorry.
It was like, what was it? It was like, we had a song called "My God," and it was like our version of trying to do like a worship song, but it was just, it's so bad. I mean, you can look it up. It's online. It's actually online, which is devastating. But that was like my way of like writing worship music. We started that band, and then from that point, it was like, okay, I'm just gonna do this, and that was it. I don't know. It all happened so naturally. Like looking back now, I'm like, it was 100% only God.
Bro, oh my God. Wait, I have like too many questions, and we're gonna run out of time. But I have to at least ask, who's your European soccer team you support? Because I would assume if you at least have someone you would go for.
Who do you think it is? I feel like
probably like Man U, because
it is.
Yeah.
What's yours?
City.
Oh yeah, right. Wow. I mean, I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand, but not back. I mean, because I started following Man United.
Yeah, at the Apex.
Like, yeah. Beckham,
Dude,
Scholes, Giggs.
Rooney then, and then a little bit of
so
Ronaldo
good.
for a second.
Yeah. It was a good time. So that was. But I don't follow that closely anymore.
Yeah.
But I love it.
It's such a beautiful game.
Dude.
I think I told you this, but I'm coaching my boys
Yes.
in club, and it is so thrilling, dude. It's so fun.
That is so fun,
It's
dude.
so fun.
I can't wait to.
It's such a beautiful game.
Yeah.
If you could choose, and you're this is too far ahead, and we just talked about not doing this, but if you could choose how many kids you had, what would you guess at?
I mean, it's gonna be up to my wife, I think.
Good point.
Is that a good answer?
Moving on.
Is that a good answer? I don't know.
I think that's a perfect answer.
3, 4.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's great. You're like, actually, I've thought about this a lot,
Yeah,
Winnie, and I'm gonna go with 10.
I would, bro.
Dude, actually, it's so funny. When I was living in LA, we had 2 at the time.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, dude, I think it might be set. Which, nothing against like LA family culture, but I think it kind of just like pushes that on you.
Yeah.
More just like the busyness of it. Like, oh gosh.
Of course. Yeah.
But now that we're like out in Arizona, I'm like, dude, I might have 5.
That's sick. You
It's
should.
crazy. I think we will. Because number 4 comes September 27th.
Oh wow! Congrats, bro. Yep.
Thank you. I don't know why, but I was almost going to say namaste for that. That's what came in my mind. That's how you say thank you now.
You should have, bro.
Actually, where was I? Do you ever practice yoga?
No, like years ago, like downward dog. That's all I remember. Yeah.
God, my mind can go a million places. I just have to say, I would say namaste in Jesus' name sometimes to people, like as a half joke, as we do. And I remember I said it to some follower of Jesus, and they were so hurt.
Yeah, of course they were.
It's like, well, that's your conviction, and I guess I infringed on it. Paul would tell me,
What was their offense to it?
I don't know. I think because namaste, it actually means the light in me sees the light in you.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
Like the light in me sees the light in you in Jesus' name. But I think because there's Christians who are very fearful of like any sort of Eastern religion. But the yoga thing is so funny, bro. I really like the core power yoga. You ever do that? Because I just like sweating that much. It just feels like a good workout.
How often do you do it?
Oh, never anymore.
Oh, okay.
But I bring it up because...
Oh, you look like you do it all the time.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
you hear him? Like you're saying that to my wife. No, but there's a little yoga studio right by my house.
Okay.
And I told my wife, this is so me,
And
bro.
they don't need to put the heat on, right? In Phoenix. It's like hot yoga doesn't. It's just yoga.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I went so excited, and it's so me. I told my wife, I'm going to do the unlimited plan. It's actually so cheap.
Yeah.
So cheap. She's like, no, just go once and see if you like it. I'm like, no, I'm going to do the unlimited plan. She's like, no, just go once and see if you like it. So, bro, I'm like, all right, I won't do the unlimited, but you're wrong. She's like, it's boring. I'm telling you, it's boring. And I hadn't done yoga in a while, and I went, and I was so bored. I was like, she's right.
Yeah.
She's right. But do you like play pickleball or anything like that for fun?
I've been playing a little bit, yeah. I like tennis.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm any good, but I prefer to do that.
When did you pick that up?
COVID, pretty much. We used to do it on tour all the time, but then COVID, like, that was, like, one of the only things we could do. Like, walk and play tennis in Sydney. It was, like, tennis was, like, the one sport you could play because you were far enough away from each other.
Oh, yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah. What about you? What do you do?
As I mentioned, I am playing bad golf.
Yeah.
I do like to play pickleball. I think similar to California is like so popular and easy right now, so I'll play that. But I don't have the bug. Like I'm sure you do too.
Do you hike over in Phoenix?
Because there's actually
sick places, right?
Yeah, there's some sick places. My dad is like the most fit 71-year-old ever. Like he hikes and mountain bikes like every day. He's obsessed.
That's insane.
So he gave me some hiking boots. I don't know if it was as much a gift as it was like, son, go get out there, buddy. But so I'll occasionally, there's actually this really cool, someday you got to come out to our neighborhood. It'll be fun. But there's this really cool, they call them the Verado Steps. That's our little neighborhood. And it's just like the quintessential suburb. It's the best. But they got old railroad tracks for steps. And they did it probably like, I don't know, like 2 football field lengths up the side of this mountain.
Oh, sick.
And then there's trails after it. So I'll do that sometimes. But I always think, I don't know if this is just me, my personality. I would hope that there's other people maybe watching, or at least you. But I always think like, oh, this is going to be a thing. Like I'm going to do this. And then I get bored.
Yeah, I know. I can't stay on one activity.
Bro, I got a mountain bike and I did it for like 3 weeks. I'm like, this is amazing. And then it sat on my garage for like 2 years. And Amy's like, it's time to sell it.
Yeah. Do you find that part of it hard though? 'Cause I can't get rid of stuff like that because I feel sentimental to the memory of doing that thing. Is that hoarding? That's hoarding, right?
No, it is. My wife will call me a pack rat. She's like, babe, this does not matter.
Yeah.
Like, this is weird. And we have this human in our life, and God bless him, but he truly is one.
Yeah.
So she'll be like, this is like so-and-so.
Yeah.
And God bless him, but I'm like, that's all she has to say, and I get rid of it.
And you know.
But I absolutely, bro, I also, when I was in San Diego, my youth pastor, before I became the youth pastor, got me into doing triathlons and bike races, and it was very much just pun intended drafting off of him. Like I didn't really like it, but I did it. Did a couple races, did pretty well, but he gave me his old road bike, which was really nice. And we did one race from Tijuana, Mexico to Ensenada. It was a 50-mile race. We trained for like months. It was crazy. 50 miles up and through these hills. And it's really popular in that area of Mexico. Like a lot of people will come out. They're giving you bananas and Gatorade. It's like awesome. And people like stopping to eat lobster, some of the people, right? And I'm just going hard. And by the end, I'm like cramping. And I got second place in my age group. I'm so excited. I come off the bike and someone hands me a Tecate and some carne asada tacos. I'm like losing my mind. This is the best experience. I never did another race. Just one.
Bro, you gotta go back and get first place.
Bro, I'm not kidding you. Oh, never.
When was that?
Oh, bro, it was so long ago. It was probably like 12 years ago. But I literally carried that bike to 4 different houses, and I just sold it in Arizona on OfferUp 4 weeks ago.
Jeez.
So I can relate, man.
Yeah, okay.
We hold on too long.
Sad. That's insane. I didn't know you did that.
Neither did I. No,
do you think you'll bring it back, or you feel like with the sale of the bike, that's the end of that?
I think that's the end of an era.
Really?
Yeah.
So you went right again?
I think I would, but I think the temptation to do a race is not really there.
Okay, that makes sense. Jeez.
When you grew up playing soccer, was it like your main thing? Were you obsessed as a kid?
Yeah, I was pretty obsessed with like track, to be honest.
Oh, no, dude, you ran track too?
Yeah.
What events?
Like I would do 200, 100.
No way, same, bro.
Really?
Yeah, and my coach would always try to get me to do 400. I'm like, please, I hate that.
Yeah, same. I hate it. It
sucks, bro. Yeah, like I always feel like I want to die after.
Yeah.
Because it's basically, the 200 was my favorite.
Yeah, 200 is my favorite too.
So the 100, I was really good. I went to a small Christian school, and so I only really competed against other small schools.
Yeah.
In our league, I dominated everyone because I was pretty fast. And then I would go to CIF 2 years in a row and just get... Bro, I kid you not. I went to CIF my senior year, and I thought, okay, this is the year.
Yeah.
And I did the 200 heat. You know, there's several heats before you get there, which CIF, like California Interscholastic Federation, San Diego section, make it to city. and I got like 5th place, and it wasn't just like 5th place out of 8. It was like me, 6, 7, and 8 might as well have walked.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
It's insane.
But what was your 200 like? Were you pretty competitive?
Yeah, I mean, that was that's what I wanted to do.
No way.
Yeah. I broke my wrist, which is like, I broke my wrist in the last year of high school. It was pretty bad. Like it was hectic. The bone came out.
Oh my God, is that the scar?
Yeah. The bone like
can I see that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's actually nuts.
But yeah, that happened, and then like it just like I was never the same after that because it just hurt. I would like still to this day it kind of hurts, which is bad. This was like what 14, 15 years ago.
How old were you?
That happened like in my last year of high school.
Bro, I injured this shoulder in my last year of high school football, and it's still like I'll wake up sore.
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
Dude, that's so bad. It's like, did you get a surgery on it or no?
No.
Okay. Yeah, it's so annoying. Anyways, that kind of put me out, and I was done after that point. But that was like I wanted to do that. I was like, I want to run for Australia.
Dude.
Yeah. I don't know if I was ever going to be good enough, but like I was training like a lot, like 3-4 times a week.
What was your fastest 200? Do you think? Can you remember?
Like 20. Probably 21.
Dude, that's fast. So you would have been winning a lot, right?
Yeah. No, it was actually like, it was like my life.
How was it set up? So like you would have the normal, because here in the U.S., at least in California, it was a spring sport, and you do all your league races, maybe a couple extra tournaments and events, and then you make it to city. Would it be similar?
Yeah, it was like, I like was in an athletics club, which had, so I did it at school as well, but then athletics club was separate, and it was like a spring summer thing. But then you train throughout the year, so and do camps and stuff. So whenever high school, like school was off, like in Australia we do like every 10 weeks there's 2 weeks off, every 10 weeks 2 weeks off, and then we do our summer break over Christmas, and you'd be in like camps. And that's what I did. Yeah.
Do you have any races that you remember that really stand out?
There was a race.
They're all so short, but
there was one that we did. There was one where it was like in my final year of high, just before I broke my wrist. And it was like the state, so it was like New South Wales, like
it was to win state.
It was the state. I think it was the heats of the state. Okay. But I was driving to they did them in these big like kind of whatever sporting arena things, and I drove to one, and I was with my dad in the car, and we get there, and there's like no cars there. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Like, where are we? And my dad's like, you sure it's here? I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's at this place. And this was like in the middle of Sydney City. And we're walking around like, it's definitely not here. And my dad's like, I think you got the venue wrong. I'm like, because it's always at this particular place. And then we're like, we should just check whatever it was. And then we're like, oh crap, like it's on the other side of the city, like an hour drive away.
No way.
So we get in the car and we like race back across. We get there.
And dude, were you so stressed?
Well, they're calling the heat as I jumped out of the car. And I'm like ran across, like literally ran up straight in and did the race.
How'd you get your spikes on?
Good.
And you won?
I was holding them. Yeah, that was my best. That's the one thing I remember. That's the best thing that ever happened. Yeah, because my dad used to have like little things. He's like, I'll give you $10 if you win. I'm like, all right, it's $10. Or with Pokemon cards for a long time as well.
Dude, yeah. Let's go.
So I had to win. Yeah,
I love it so much. Man, so fun. Yeah, track is so fun too.
Dude, it's like the best.
Being at a track meet is unlike.
But it's the most stressful thing in the world, though.
Oh yeah, the best is after you've done your bigger races and all this stuff. Just maybe like a relay and kind of watching. But it's such an interesting thing because you kind of do your thing and then you like eat a granola bar and like say hi to kids from another school you met before. Yeah. And kind of like saunter back over.
Yeah, it's the best. I just remember being so stressed though. Like I stopped, like part of me like not doing that was like the best because I remember feeling like stressed all year thinking about when it's coming up. Like that's the sound of the gun like haunts me. I still think about it.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's so stressful.
You like hear a gunshot and you're not scared because you can get hurt.
Yeah.
Track. I gotta run. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, before we jump off, I have to go back to your pop album, Unreleased. Just give me give me the small perspective of what you wrote. I know you didn't release it. And by the way, I also have to commend you. All the content that you and Benjamin put together dude, that was so good.
I'm glad you liked it.
It really blessed me. And even obviously I know you a lot better than I know him, but being around you both a few times is like, bro, it was so fun.
Good, I'm glad.
And it's actually I can't remember what you called it, or if you called it a series, but when you're like putting on wigs and doing marketing.
Oh yeah.
And the content. Oh my god.
Right, it's like that. It's
how did that come up?
I don't know.
Because that wasn't for the pop album, but I feel like you were writing it during that time, weren't you?
Yeah, no. So that was like, but that was for this record that I've just put out called Beyond Us. But that was like,
it was for Beyond Us. Okay.
Yeah, but dude, like, content's the worst. It's like it's become everything, and it's so like, so I don't know. I mean, all that stuff is just like coming up with whatever. Like, dude, I don't even know what I was doing. I like lost myself doing content. Has like, I feel like that is being a musician now, more than even actually being a musician is making content.
It's kind of everything.
Yeah, I know. It's nonstop. Yeah. So,
and the algorithm now with like Instagram, even if you did have the best content, it's not just about that anymore.
No, I don't even know.
Like you need to post at the right times with this level of consistency to meet this audience in order to get your content in front of more people. And obviously content is not really what matters. You're trying to do something more important. But then what's crazy too, and I'm sure we all have friends who do it, so there's no shame in it, but like the amount of people who are just making money just on making content too is crazy.
I know. It's been, it's definitely like, but it's not what it was. Like, it's particularly with like how we started doing music before, like with Young and Free. It's like, I don't remember ever feeling like, well, it just wasn't a thing. It just wasn't, because social media wasn't the way that you built an audience.
It is interesting.
But it is now.
Sorry?
But it is now. Like, social media is actually like the way that you build an audience.
Absolutely.
Whereas in the past, it just never was. It was a place where you documented what happened, but it wasn't the place where you actually like found fans or whatever.
It's wild. I feel like our generation, I'm almost mid-30s now, which is crazy, but both in our 30s, we kind of have been able to straddle both. Like when we were in high school, maybe you had a Facebook, but not everyone always had an iPhone and was always on it.
Yeah, no.
And you definitely weren't making Facebook content. Like maybe your buddy had funny things he'd post.
Yeah.
But that's about it. And now every business, every church, every artist needs to have one in order to keep up with their fans.
Yeah, you need it. It's like, you can't do it without it. And I have like a lot of friends who are insane musicians and actually have had a lot of success, like particularly in Australia, like bands and stuff that I know that have just done so well, but like prior to like the social media thing, and they actually just can't transition into the social media space. And, but they've built loyal fans that hopefully will stay with them. But it's like, it's so interesting because it kind of does cut off an entire market of like musicians or artists who like just who can't actually translate their art into social media, or don't know how, don't care, don't want to. And so,
do you think that those artists or those musicians, if they had a way to do it where they didn't have to do it, they would want to? Or do you think it's more of that artistic perspective of like, dude, I'm not doing it. Like I refused it. I never want my content there.
I don't know. I think it's a mix. Like, I mean, there's a particular group that I'm thinking of at the moment that I won't name, but like some of my best friends, and they're like insanely talented, like had so much success, like, and done so well, but have not posted or anything at all. Like I think they have their Instagram's got like nothing, nothing on it, but they're like a big band. They can sell out massive rooms, but I don't know whether that will translate now, like, because they've had like 4 or 5 years of not being on socials. Like, how does it? I don't know. And I think a lot of it for them is like they're really like intentional with their art, and you know, I don't know. They want things to be how they were, and I don't know. It would be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot, specifically artists who are musicians, who would just prefer to not go that route in general. Like, you remember when Bon Iver started to like take off, and then he just like Justin Vernon just refused to record anything for a while and went over and started making other things. Yeah. Because he wanted he won some awards and got popular. He's like, I don't want this. I feel like that's so many musicians would lean that way. So I'm not even surprised. Like, we're not gonna leverage social media because F it. You know. I
mean, I wish I didn't have to, because it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. Totally. And it takes away as well. Sometimes it takes away from like the time spent. You could actually spend that time
because you're doing it yourself.
Else. Yeah. Well, even just like, I think it's just like concepts constantly. Like, you're spending time like trying to come up with a cool idea that could work, whereas like you could spend that time actually making the art or making the song, writing the music. I don't know. But I just
letting
think it's
your
one
friend
of the
listen
same
to
now.
your pop album.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. Yeah.
For real?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Let's go. I interrupted you while you're like talking deeply.
No, I just think it's all. To be honest, in summary, I just think it's all like one and the same. I think it's just the way that like I think people listen to music in snippets on Instagram now.
Yeah, that is so crazy.
Yeah, and that's how you consume music. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, bro, thank you so much for being on.
It. Thanks for having me, dude.
Oh my God, dude, absolutely incredible.
Long overdue.
Yeah, long overdue, and also a little rushed.
I like it.
End.
No, you're good.
They don't know it, except now they do because I told them.
Yeah.
But appreciate you, bro. I think the world of you. If you can, a new piece we like to do towards the end. Just look at this camera, and I'm gonna give you. Why don't you encourage a young musician? I think that would be a cool thing to do, because for someone who grew up in the church, and for what you and obviously so many others were able to do young and free, I think it's really powerful. Obviously, you could be talking to someone in or out of it, but I think it'd be cool for someone who's done what you've done, and you've written so many beautiful songs. To maybe think through like a younger guy, like 15, 16, maybe 20 something, who's trying to stay encouraged while he's making music, writing songs. I think it'd be beautiful. I mean, it could also be a girl too. I said younger guy.
Younger girl and guy. I mean, I think the thing that has encouraged me a lot has been like just getting around people, and like for me, like sending my songs, being vulnerable, asking for advice, getting feedback, getting into co-writes. Like as a young person, like for me, I would not be doing what I'm doing now without, and still to this day, like I still feel this way. Like I still like even like on my record, like I sent it to like Tomlin. I love Chris Tomlin so much. Like look up to him a lot. Incredible. And like I'll just send it to him. Like, hey, what do you think? Or whatever. Like I think you have to keep that approach. And so for a young person, like a lot of the first songs that I wrote, I wouldn't have written had I not done that. Like I had like a lot of older guys and older girls who I looked up to and be like, hey, can you help me finish this song? And so like a song like Sinking Deep for me was like I wrote it with this guy called Joel Davies, who I looked up to so much. And like he didn't know me, and I just would pester him. I'd be like, hey man, like can you listen to this song? And he's like, oh yeah, whatever. And I was like this young kid, and eventually like, you know, we ended up writing Sinking Deep, which was like the song that I think is like defined so much of who I am as a writer and as a creative. And at the time I didn't know that me putting myself out there and asking this guy for help would turn into like would become what it became. So that my encouragement would be to just put yourself out there and like take time to like find your voice. And like I don't think it doesn't have to come overnight. That would be my encouragement, because I still feel like today I still don't. I'm still figuring it out. Yeah,
bro, that's beautiful. I hope that encouraged you, and man, thank you so much for taking the time.
Bro, I love you.
Appreciate you, bro. I love you more, bro.